Hello and welcome back to what was formerly known as Crypto Bits. I know there's no intro today, but we will have a new intro soon as we are in the process of rebranding at this time into what we are now calling Brittany Bits. I do hope you guys agree with the rebranding as we are trying to move away from the use of the word crypto. But without getting into it too much and without revealing all of the exciting things we have planned for the Brittany Bits brand now and in the future, I'll go ahead and let you guys get into the video. Hello and welcome back. I am your host, Brittany, and today we have Nikki New joining us from Genuine Retweets. And Nick, how are you doing today?
Brittany, thank you ever so much for having me on today. I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Yes, and do you think you could start us off with something simple and explain to us a little bit about your background and just how and when you became involved with Bitcoin?
Yeah, of course. Well, for the last 16 years, I've actually been a dance instructor. And I've been teaching children in between, say, 6 to 18 years old for that time, in schools and in my own classes, teaching hip hop dance, street dance, really. And just started getting into Bitcoin in my old flat when there was a guy that came up who lived 2 floors down, and he was talking about the dark web one night, you know, and I'm not interested in that sort of stuff. I didn't know what he was on about. He said dark web, dark web. And eventually I said, okay, just tell us about this dark web. And he said, oh, Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, what's that then? What is it? You know? And then on the same night, after he left, about 4 hours later, I bought some.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah, I was like, I like this. I like this. I was thinking that means that's mine. You know, if I get this, that means it's mine. And that was it. That's how I got into it. And that was BTC back in 2016, 2017, in the middle of where it started to go like mental.
And when was it that you made the switch from BTC mindset into Bitcoin mindset?
Um, just when people started speaking English, you know, I couldn't find anyone who was prepared to speak English because everyone was on this intellectual competition, and I didn't understand any of it. So unfortunately, I had to start my own show called the BSV Business Show because I wanted to start a business in Bitcoin because I had Craig Wright going on about it all the time, but I just couldn't find anyone who was prepared to speak English and basic language, right?
Right.
So I had to start my own damn show to find out, and then I ended up interviewing loads of people, and it started to piece itself together. And then also watching people like I Am Satoshi make things really simple, and a couple of other people in the space, entrepreneurs in the, I suppose you could say BSV space, whatever you want to call it. Eventually, when the coronavirus came, I just decided to see if I could change careers in it, because up until that point, I was still in my other business.
I think your other business is still important. Are you still doing that now? The hip hop dancing?
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm dancing a lot more, but I'm not teaching now. So it's quite nice, really, because
it's like the difference between a passion and a job. And once you make a passion your job, it kind of takes the passion out. So is that how you feel about it?
I really enjoyed it. I was thinking the other day walking into town, I can't remember a single time in 16 years where I wasn't very excited about work, you know?
Yeah.
But then when the coronavirus came, I realized I was tired. And up until that point, I didn't know I was tired.
Right.
That's the only sort of downside of that whole part of my life, actually, Brittany, is that if the coronavirus hadn't arrived, I never would have known I was tired.
The coronavirus has changed a lot of our lives in many different ways. But so how did the idea of Genuine Retweets come about?
Yeah, I work for TDXP. So I do their social media, and we've had such a nice growth over the last 12 months. You know, we've got about $3 million now in our liquidity pool, and that started at zero, for example. So it's going really well there, and they put certain pressures on me to deliver certain numbers for our business. So with that pressure came, right, I have to really try and get some people here, right? And I thought, well, we can use Bitcoin for this. We can start perhaps compensating people to help get involved in this business because they want these numbers out of me. So how the hell do I deliver these numbers? Perhaps we can compensate people, right?
Right.
So that's how it started, yeah. We tried to do it through DMs and Twitter at first, and then it didn't work. And then we tried like giveaways and stuff. And then we had all these fake accounts follow us. And they started sort of asking for money at really weird occasions on social media, right? So they became a problem, right? So I suggested that we go to Telegram a year and a half, about a year ago-ish, and see if we could actually pay people from there. And then the robots found us again, right? So I was absolutely fuming, and I spoke to Ben, who I've been working with on another business called BSV App Testers, which is another business that we own. And he had the solution as a programmer, and luckily he speaks English. So he didn't pull with the wool over my eyes and start talking about all these terms that I simply don't understand. He made it very straightforward. He said, right, Nick, the solution to the problem is this, right? You need this and this and this. That's right. We've got to hit these numbers. You're prepared to use Bitcoin to compensate people to try and add towards that. Yes, we are. Well, then what I know as a programmer, Nick, is that can do that. And then he would just went, hallelujah. And then first thing I said is, well, can other businesses use it? And he said, well, we shall do that. We'll build it so anyone can use it, you know. And that's it. That's how it started, really. So I'd say it was from the pressure of Armin at TDXP, who's my boss at TDXP. You know, he really put it on us at the start. I think he said something like, there's 3 pillars to TDXP. And one of those pillars belongs to you, Nick. And if any of those pillars of this business fail, then our entire business fails. Do you understand that, Nick? Yeah. And
a lot of pressure.
I like that. I like that, right? I like knowing the fact that I am responsible for that. And that's my part now. And it won't fail now because that's my part, or that's at least how I'd approach it, right?
Right.
And yeah, we just put a lot of energy into it. There was times during that period where I was doing 36 hours straight, working straight. And I mean straight, to the point where, you know, a couple of people said, Nick, you know, just take a day off or whatever. You know, so
it's mental health. When you start working that long, oof.
Yeah, but it's just because I had so much energy for where I weren't dancing. That's why I knew I was tired, because I couldn't. 36-hour day was nothing. It was nothing. And even now, I could either do a 12-hour day of sitting here doing nothing. It doesn't compare to being physically tired, in my opinion.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like you had a whole lot of pressure put onto you, and you were like, how do I perform? How do I make this happen? And what do you think are some things during that process of time where you know, everything started moving really fast, that you realize, oh, this is the thing that is going to change everything, and it's going to help TDXP. It's going to move us forward. People can use this. And not only just people using it to help promote themselves, but for people to actually earn money.
Yeah, we realized straight away, because that's what Bitcoin explains in the first part of the white paper. I can't get past the first part of it because it's too boring for me, but it does say in the first part that microtransactions will be a problem on the internet. And for someone like myself who reads that, you process it like, well, I can compensate people to do stuff.
Right.
So people feel like they're just doing not very much, but they're doing a really good job when they're working for Genuine Retweets. They're helping businesses grow. We've had some brilliant success stories of businesses that have done really well for using our service, and it's cost them all of $20, $25. So we knew straight away that we had something, because we knew it was the right market, sharing the right stuff.
Right.
And looking at the market price, Twitter promoted tweets and other available options that don't really work that well, it all sort of made sense.
Speaking of that, was there ever any concern that maybe people wouldn't be interested in the use of Genuine Retweets when they did have the other options of going and finding those lesser you know, platforms where they could buy followers and tweets and everything, but not earn money? Was there ever any concern that people might either go to those platforms and use that over Genuine Retweets, or was there ever a concern that people might lump a genuine retweets in with those other platforms that can get you banned and all of these other things.
There is concern because people are naive at the moment because they don't understand Bitcoin.
Right.
So when we're slowly moving into the real world at the moment, like we have been for the last 6 weeks or so, often other businesses who don't know about this stuff may think that we're the same as a click farm in India.
Right.
And confuse us with that, you know. But then when we say to them, well, if you like to actually click on the retweet and see who's been doing the retweeting, they can see for themselves.
Right.
And often at that point, they're really impressed. You know, I think that they actually just getting numbers. I think those days have gone now. I reckon if we go back 10 years, oh look, I've got 10,000 followers overnight. You know,
Right.
loads of fake accounts. It used to be impressive. Now, I believe a lot of businesses would prefer a smaller handful of the right people, because the engagement that you would receive from that as a business is natural in today's environment. So you don't suddenly have a load of, I don't know, I suppose Indian accounts is the one that always comes up, you know, where some guys pressed a button in a shed.
Right.
Because you paid him some money. So I don't think businesses get a lot of growth through that. Numbers for show.
Right.
Growth for dough. Yeah, if we want to coin a new little phrase today. We provide quality.
Right.
Brittany. You know, we are looking at helping businesses by providing the best quality, and it's working.
Well, if somebody were watching this that say wasn't involved in BSV or the Bitcoin community, and they were watching this and wondering what kind of company Genuine Retweets is, and they were a content creator like myself, how would you explain to them how they could leverage Genuine Retweets as a tool to help them grow their platform or their business?
Well, first of all, Brittany, we'll be having fiat option as payments. I believe in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
That'll be good.
Yeah. So even though we'll still use the Bitcoin plumbing as the infrastructure which does the magic, we'll be allowing other means of money to come in. So any content provider who uses PayPal, for example, could leverage that. If they happen to be from a finance point of view, a technology point of view, or the things that the majority of the Genuine Retweets people are interested in, then they will leverage a winner as long as they put a lot of care and attention into their tweet and get what they want. I've got no doubt in my mind that they'll get attention, followers, and, you know, good things that will happen to them.
So you mentioned just now that you're going to be promoting a new addition to the Genuine Retweets by adding basically a fiat on-ramp. Could you elaborate a little bit more about that time frame and that such?
Yeah, I mean, I was told today it's going to be a week. That's why I said 2 to 3 weeks, because I know what they're like. Yeah. You know, there'll be testing period and stuff like that. But yeah, money's money, Bitcoin's money, fiat's money. Not a big fan of the GBP at the moment. I've got a bit of contempt towards it. We can come on to that later if you like. I'd like to get that off my chest. But, you know, in large amounts, GBP is not too bad. It will eat into our profit margins as a business because of the extortionate charges that PayPal force upon us because of the antiquated way that fiat works. It's not our fault, but we will have to pay that as a business. And again, you know, it does infuriate me.
But if it's going to be costing you money as a business, is it worth providing that additional layer of funding payments?
Yeah, of course, because obviously from the offset you work on a certain profit margin per unit, which will allow you to grow as a business. Well, that's what we done. We looked at the profit per unit, and well before looked at the tax and looked at all the payments we would have to pay on per unit, including wages and programmer costs as well. And, you know, we're in a fortunate position where even though our pricing point is delicious for the consumer, the businesses who use it, we're still able to make a profit on that and grow. So we can take a PayPal hit. And in future versions, we've also coded in white label capabilities. So going back to your suggestion about other influencers, it's feasible for someone like yourself to have your own version of Genuine Retweets that's specifically for, I guess, people who want to find new influencers, or a load of people that are looking for new influencers, right? You could have a specific version for that where influencers could use it and say, well, I'm a new influencer, I'm trying to get out, or I've just done a video, or I've just done an interview, whatever. So you could have your own bespoke version of Genuine Retweets. And we've been approached about this, which is why we've got white label capabilities that are ready today to be done. On the white label capability, the partner who works with us will be able to choose all the prices, the logo, the domain name, the website, and we will take care of all the infrastructure in the background. So there'll be no worrying about your coding or anything like that. You just crack on with it and, you know, make good profit margins. The original question, is it worth it? You're looking at obviously you've got Bitcoin, the money where it doesn't cost to send nothing,
Right.
which a lot of profit as an entrepreneur, versus fiat, which is a shambles on the internet. Quite frankly, it really, you know, it really is. Again, if you'd like to later, if you're not too bored of it by then, but it is a shambles. But we have to take that money in case there are people that have got money for us, because we can simply take that Bitcoin and flush it into, we can take that money and put it into better money to pay people. But we can still take that money and still work with the profits, even on the percentages that PayPal charge. But I am fuming with PayPal and Visa and all of them for what they charge businesses. Fuming.
Have there been any legal concerns about creating the fiat payment system and integrating that with Genuine Retweets?
No, because we only take the fiat to from the clients as a service.
So you're basically just acting as the business. You're not acting as like an intermediary.
We can't really pay fiat out on the internet because fiat is a shambles. It's a shambles. You know, if you're an entrepreneur and you're using fiat on the internet, you ought to be very upset, you know, and frustrated because you can't use it on the internet. I can't pay you, you know, right. You can't pay me. I have to walk to the town and say to the, you know, take me 2 weeks to pay you the small sum, of which you'll receive a small percentage.
Right.
It's just not right.
So who came up with the pricing, the price points on Genuine Retweets? What was that process like? Sitting with the other people helping you build this?
Yeah, that would go into a spreadsheet, and then we would just do analysis on the current market prices away from Bitcoin to have a sniff around and see what normal businesses are charging, because that's where we would like to place ourselves, because that's where the most money is. And asking ourselves honestly, can these people in this community afford to pay that? And that's it really. For right. Other industries, that will go up.
And I'm sorry. And who else is on the team helping you run everything?
Well, there's 3 of us. So there's myself. There's a coder, lead developer, I suppose you could say. Ben, and he hates me talking about him. He hates it. He'll hate that I've said that. He'll hate it.
I can edit it out if you'd like.
No, yeah, I mean, I think you should leave it in. But I know what he hates praise. Yeah, he's one of those guys, right?
Right.
He even mentioned, right? He's one of those. And we've also got another lad who we've employed him now on a full-time basis for the last 10 months. Who's part of our team, and we're not even allowed to say his name, but he's fabulous. Yeah, he's just brilliant. So there's 3 of us. There's 3 of us, but yeah, but each one of us is worth 3 men. Yeah, so technically there's 9 of us.
I like it. Well, you mentioned the fiat, but what other, what kind of plans do you have for Genuine Retweets to make it sustainable moving into the future? Do you have any ideas of like instances that may occur that you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to eventually face this and deal with it and overcome it?
There's basically a large amount of fiat with my name on it. So on an individual basis, we're set up now to hit some terrific targets this year in fiat with the Bitcoin as plumbing, because we're about to go and serve a new group of people that need our help, and a group of people that we want to contribute towards as well in a big way. So we've got a lot of pressure this year because we've got some serious targets that are beyond crypto, that are beyond this little number go up and all this rubbish. Our targets are serious ones, ones that we can be very proud of if we do hit. So on a personal level as a business, that's where we're going, right? We've already into that space now. We can't talk about it at the moment, but we're about 6 or 7 weeks in. It's been hilarious so far dealing with the general public in Bitcoin because they don't even realize they're getting Bitcoin. It's brilliant. Yeah. And these are people that I know in this town, you know, walking around like, oh yeah, I got that money, that money came in. They don't even know what it is. They don't even know what it is. Right. They saw it get there. They're impressed that it got there. They're like, so I've just done that and then I've got that. Yes, that's what's happened. And they say, Brittany, do you know what they say? They say, this is amazing. This is people who've never seen Bitcoin before. They're like, so I was under the impression that I might have to like reply to an email or something. I said, mate, you've done it. You've done it. That's great to see that. They don't even know what they've got, right? Out of all the people I've done it to now, not even, I would say, I think one of them might have gone, this Spanish guy kind of went, this is this Bitcoin or something, mate. Like, and that was about it, Brittany. That he's the only one who said something. The rest of them, oh, I've got some more money. You know, what I'm not looking forward to is when they send it to a BTC address. Yeah, right. Tough shit. Yeah, I'm not one of these guys who likes explaining Bitcoin. I can't be bothered.
You leave that to Kurt or
leave it to Kurt and all them guys who like all that stuff. You know, exactly. I'll crack on with business.
Yeah, no, definitely. So how long would you say from like fruition to launch that everything took to really get going? And what were the major hurdles that you guys had to overcome to really make this what it is today?
Yeah, the business broke even very quickly. I like to argue within 12 hours, but Ben likes to say, well, no, it's more like 2 weeks, Nick, because we've got to account for this, that, and the other. So let's just say the business broke even within the first 2 weeks. The hurdle that we had was having no marketing budget and no venture capital from the BSV space, which meant we had to name the business something that was very self-explanatory from the offset, genuine retweets. I think there's only been one person so far, that was Patrick Thompson from CoinGeek, who asked us, well, what does a business genuine retweets do?
I think maybe he was
well,
you know, just trying to explain it to other people, you know.
I think he got a bit flummoxed, and I think he sort of cottoned on when I said, well, it's closing the title, mate. Yeah. And he sort of went, oh yeah, it is. Yeah. So apart from him, I don't remember anyone really sort of calling us up on the name. What does your business do? Right. And then the second thing we had to do was do what Twitch do, that was be a bit naughty online, a bit like Froggy, and get attention, because I've got no marketing budget, you see. So I had to be naughty to get attention, you know. And I said to Ben, look, sorry, going to be naughty tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll take it on a chin. You know, he's so nice and lovely in that, and you know, he's not no pushover, but he would just rather not be the public facing person on the end of anything naughty. Whereas I quite like it sometimes. Yeah, it's a good way to market.
Well,
and that's what we did.
Yeah,
and that's how we overcome it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit of naughtiness, as you say, could is people like drama. People like to be entertain that that type of headspace, and so it's very attention grabbing. I can say that for sure. Yeah. But so I want to ask you, as an entrepreneur, what are some tips or tricks that you could share with the viewers about creating an app on Bitcoin that you wish you would have known before you first began this? You know, like initial investment costs, where to find good developers, marketing secrets aside from the naughtiness and things like that.
Yeah, you know, if you're going to get yourself a programmer, a good one, I think if you do not have someone who can build on the bloody pixels, you're in trouble as an entrepreneur on the internet. You know, I think first things first, entrepreneurs out there who do watch this, just admit if you don't like coding. Yeah. I hate it. But
how does somebody with no coding experience know how to pick a good coder?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, yeah, exactly. This is what I was sort of coming on to, Brittany, because you don't know. I've worked with coders that are garbage. Yeah, I won't say their names. I mean, a couple of them think they're big shots as well, but they're garbage. Yeah, I can tell you that now. From an entrepreneur's point of view, they're garbage. So entrepreneurs, be careful of garbage ones, and the garbage ones will try and score you on business. They'll be frightened of money. You know, you look to make some profit and they'll start crying. They want to overcomplicate everything. So I'd stay away from them. But if you get a good one, this is something that not many people sort of understand. But if you want to get them on side, I say show them money, right? As in, show them money that you can get from nothing. Yeah. Show them demonstrations of you as an entrepreneur, like I did with the programmers that we work with now, and call out amounts of money and call out businesses and say $300 from them. Just pluck it from the air in the morning. And they say, the first time I done it, Brittany, right? He didn't know what I was saying. I said, right, say a business and say an amount of money. I said to him, yeah, because I wanted to show him my skills, yeah. And then we chose one, chose the amount of money. I don't think he sort of knew where it was going. And this, remember I was saying this the other day on that thing we were talking about. You know, I've got refused in that meeting, I remember, but went back to my coder and said, this is great. They said, no, it's great. Went really well. When it couldn't have gone better. They said, no, he didn't know what I was talking about, right? It's like, what is he on about? This guy's mad. Went really well. And they said, no, what is he talking about? He's a loony, yeah? 2 days later, met the same people and we'd done a deal for the money that we agreed 2 days before, where I said that they really meant yes. They didn't mean no, they meant yes. But when someone says that to you for the first time in like that business environment, and they kind of go, well, I think in that conversation, they really meant yes. You think the person's mad. It does sound crazy. But then when they come back with the money and they go, well, remember I thought when they said no and I thought they said yes, well, look in our bank account, mate. Yeah. And look what it says next to that number. And he's like, oh my word, that says what we said then and that number, Nick. You were quite right. You did it. And I've done that a few times now, just for fun and mucking around. And we love it. And we've done it a few times with a few different things. You know, there was, I don't want to sort of, you know, call any business names out, but we've done it a few times. And I think any entrepreneurs out there, you owe it to your programmer. You owe it to your programmer to show them money like that and show them what skill you got. You can't just expect them to start coding without showing them something, a bit of magic. That's my personal opinion. Some people may disagree with that, but that's how I think it is. Show them some magic and show them some money and put the money in front of them and go, there, look, that's what's going to happen if we work together. That's who you've got, right? The other thing I'd say, Brittany, as well, is if you're an entrepreneur and you've got skills that they haven't got, some of these programmers and stuff, they're not very like confident people, yeah? And if we are as entrepreneurs, we're confident, add that to the team, instill that in your programmer as well by showing them, you know, by showing them who they've got on their team. Get out there, there's going to be trouble tomorrow morning online and I'm taking it on the chin. Every single punch, I want it on my chin, yeah? And you do stuff like that and they sort of go, you know what, I like this guy. I like him. He's right, him. And then they start getting going like that. And then before you know it, you've got a nice team, you and the programmer, perhaps you're not, personalities aren't, you know, perfect, as you expect, yeah. But you got, he likes me, he knows what's going to happen. I like this guy because he turns up, because he does the same, right? I've seen our programmers fall asleep at the 11th hour when we're coding, trying to get stuff done, falling asleep at the computer. That sort of stuff goes a long way with me. You know, that means a lot. You know, just little signs like that. That's who I want on my team. People who's going all the way, fall asleep at the computer because you're gone, right? So I'd say that to people. You've got to find, and the second thing I really want to say, Brittany, about this, right, is be careful who you listen to, who is schooling you on Bitcoin. There's a load of people out there rattling their mouth off about Bitcoin, about business and entrepreneurship, who don't have businesses, who've never done it before, who've never even farted out a cent of profit in their lives, who haven't got the urgency or the conviction to do a good business and can't even have the creativity to deliver on it. So the other thing I'd say to the entrepreneurs out there are so many people out there, entrepreneurs, who want to confuse you because they're on an intellectual battle of, I can say the most complicated stuff about Bitcoin because that's what I do when I sit around my family at Thanksgiving or at Christmas dinner and bore the daylights out of everybody who's around me, right? I'm not that guy. Yeah, I never talk about Bitcoin. When people mention it, I don't even bothered. I'm an entrepreneur. If anybody wants to learn about entrepreneurship on Bitcoin, we've made profit. We're well into profit now. We're broken even. We're well into profit. My view on Bitcoin is very simplistic. It's in plain English. And be careful who you allow to school you on Bitcoin if you're an entrepreneur, because some of these people will not make sense and they'll put you off and you'll miss out on the best protocol on the internet today.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Um, well, I don't want to name any specific names, but I can see where you're coming from. And from that sense, from a developer sense, from an entrepreneur sense, being able to get something off the ground and going is already tough enough, because I think there's a lot of people out there that have really good ideas and may want to build on Bitcoin, but at the same time may be afraid of failing. And I think as an entrepreneur, we really have to confront ourselves and our internal battles and kind of fight ourselves about being afraid to fail. And sometimes failing is a good thing because it teaches you what to do and what not to do in the future, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to listen to other people, but to take everything with a grain of salt in the same aspect.
Well, on the subject of failure, people laugh at me because all I've been talking about for the last 2 years is net profit. Yeah. That's what gets me out of bed, is net profit, right? And there's a reason behind that. The reason behind that, Brittany, is because in my first business when we left university, which was an alcohol delivery service for parties, yeah, in Cardiff, in Wales, we didn't account for alcohol tax, and unfortunately lost a lot of weight where we couldn't afford to eat because we did not have the net profit. So since that point onwards, as an entrepreneur, every business that I've been involved in, guess what we look at? Net profit, and we can eat. Yeah, that's a really good one, because a lot of these people in Bitcoin, they do not look at profit, and I'm astounded. What they look at is it complicated? Is it profound? Will I be revered? Do my 7 intelligent friends understand it? And ridiculous things like that. We look at profit, demand. Does it scale? So any entrepreneurs out there, ask yourself these questions, like in the real world, are you going to get money? A lot of these entrepreneurs, they're pulling out business concepts which work when business scales, when Bitcoin scales. It's not scaled at the moment.
Well, I also think, not to interject here, but I also think that some of these people with good business ideas are afraid to launch because it is still early in Bitcoin. But I also think if, say, they were thinking about launching a product in another year or two, they'd be asking themselves, am I too late? And so I feel like there's a balancing act in between there, between am I too early, am I too late? Because you really got to hit it just right, and then take into consideration how long it's actually going to take to develop an app or produce a platform and things of that nature. So I think net profit is important, but I think there's a lot of other different thoughts that go into the creation and production of a business, right? And so yeah, I didn't mean to rattle on there, but just my two cents there. Obviously Genuine Retweets has been performing very well in this space, but are there any achievements that Genuine Retweets has had and that you're really proud of, aside from just producing net profits?
Not really, no. This is a test of concepts. I think people don't really understand that at the moment. We haven't really started yet. This is nothing. Yeah, the business is in profit on a daily basis. I'm doing really well, but this is nothing. We are much more capable than Genuine Retweets, and the way we plan to scale this business, Genuine Retweets is respectfully a test of concept where we haven't began as entrepreneurs yet. Right. So this year we've got some severe targets we have put on ourselves that are very dear to us and close to our hearts, in areas that we really want to work in, which makes for a really exciting year, because what we were saying before about dancing and that, you're doing something you really want to do. I'm not really a Bitcoin man, right? I'm not like all into all the Bitcoin and that, really. I'm an entrepreneur who uses Bitcoin as money on the internet. That's it. And the Great British Pound and the Bitcoin is my 2 choices that I have, right? Which is why I hate them.
But didn't you? Okay, so you hate them, but you're utilizing both of them for your business.
No, I didn't say hate. I didn't. Not once did I say I hate Bitcoin. I just said I'm not into it. right?
Okay.
So if I
Sorry, I
was going out
misheard.
on a night out with a girl or something, I wouldn't talk to her about Bitcoin or something like that. I wouldn't, right?
Bitcoin's not your passion. That's what you're saying.
It's the Great British Pound is not my passion. Bitcoin's not my passion. I don't care about the history of Bitcoin. I don't care about the history of Great British Pounds. I'm not in the Great British Pound community because I don't know that person out of the window, even though they've got pound in their pocket. And I'm not in the Bitcoin community because you've got Bitcoin in your pocket and we're supposed to be like braiding each other's hair now, right? Because we're both in BSV. So I just look at things differently, right? If they want to be in a community, and I understand that you've got your comfort blanket and all that. There's fear out there with my name on it. And this year it's smashed into our bank account, right? And it's as simple as that because they cannot cope with the Bitcoin protocol. And we are there to serve everyone in an entire industry who are going to welcome us with open arms because they need us so badly, right? We've just got to get past what we spoke about before, the whole are you a click farm from India? Yeah. Have you ever used Bitcoin before? We get over those two hurdles, we're in. We are in. We've been contacted how many times in the last few weeks, maybe 5 or 6 times with white labels. You know, had a nice conversation 2 days ago. There's a business who want an Arabic white label, right? So white labels will be sold, and then they're not sort of dirt cheap. You know, they're not expensive, but they're not dirt cheap. Yeah. But the business will scale like that. You know, we're not happy at all with what we're doing at the moment. But there's only sort of 3 of us. Yeah. We were supposed to be in places last September that we haven't reached yet, that we're still trying to reach now. So we're fuming, quite frankly, behind the scenes. There's a lot of finger wagging. We put a lot of pressure on each other, on ourselves, because that's how we work as a business, and we decided that from the start anyway. So we've got a lot more urgency than, say, a VC company that's on $80,000 a year for the next 4 years. You know, we can't behave like them VC companies because I have to pay my rent here. I have to pay my bills, Brittany, otherwise I'm gone.
No, and I think a lot of people understand that sentiment. So I guess I just find it a little bit surprising that you're not a Bitcoin man, but explaining it in those terms, like, hey, I'm just an entrepreneur. I'm here to make money. I need money to survive, and this is the outlet that I've chosen, and it's what's working for me and my colleagues. So that's what I'm going to go with. That makes sense. I guess it's still just a little bit surprising because
let's go into it some more. I mean, it's just that I'm a dancer, right? So if you gave me a choice between going into my kitchen and dancing hip hop or having a discussion about a cryptocurrency, there's no choice, right? If you gave me a choice between watching the football tonight, Chelsea, Tottenham, or whatever, and discussing cryptocurrency, get out of here, cryptocurrency. Hello, football, right? I'm just a normal bloke, Brittany.
Right.
I'm not like one of these geeky guys who really sort of geeks out on it all. I respect them and I want them to have their time, but I'm just not that. And I want to make it accessible to people who are not like that, right? Because if I hadn't dug myself and done my own show and bamboozle, I would not be an entrepreneur today in Bitcoin. And we'd have missed out on genuine retweets because of all these muppets who just want to rattle off their gums and complicate everyone. I'm just not like that, right? Respect it so much, Bitcoin, yeah, because what it's given me, Brittany, is what I love most: freedom. Yeah. I woke up the other day, right, late, Brittany, and I said, today I want $250 today. That's the first. I just woke. I don't do that a lot, but it happens sometimes, right? I've sprung out of bed, yeah. I sprung out of bed, and I just $250 today, right? Am I right there? Yeah. Right, $250 today. I want it today. Without Bitcoin, I can't really say that. I can, but I can't. With Bitcoin, I can make that so accessible, right? So I could say to you, right, I could have written to you on that day, say, right, I will edit your next 4 shows, Brittany, within 3 hours. Your next 4 shows to your spec, right? $250. If I'm doing that for your next 4 shows, yes or no, right? You might have said yes. You might have said yes, right? As it happened, I went through a few things and a few people and a few this and that. We got to 250. And I helped someone a lot, right, for that money. But the point is, Bitcoin, I love it because of that freedom. So even without genuineretweets.com, I would have no problem at all earning a lot of Bitcoin on a daily basis because I'm free, right? And I love Bitcoin in terms of the whole what it gives me as an entrepreneur. I'm free like that. I can send you 15 cents if you help us on Genuine Retweets. I can't do that on the pounds. I can't, So from that aspect as an entrepreneur, I am now in a position to compete with big companies who don't understand that information. Yeah, but I do. That's the difference, right? So all those people in London who've got my fiat, they won't understand how it's getting shoveled into my pocket until one day in 6 months' time to 12 months' time, they go, right, Nicky New, what the hell's going on? Can we go for dinner? Right. And this will be important people as well, because we're delving with people right up the top as well. Yeah. And they won't understand. And they won't understand for a long time, and that's fine. But that's the way we can grow Bitcoin, I think, is getting out there to people out there who've got my fiat, who can't compete, because fiat cannot compete with us. So do you get it more now? It's more like I've got better things to do in my life than geeking out on Bitcoin. But at the same token, as an entrepreneur on the internet, there is no better protocol in the world. You can't. If there is, bring it to me. I want to see it.
I'd say that there's still passion there for Bitcoin, but it's not the same passion that a lot of other people in the space share. It's a different passion in the sense that you love it because it does provide that freedom. But aside from that, you're not interested in what the protocol says or what the Bitcoin white paper says or what people are saying about the history or things of that nature.
Well, what I've never done in my life is go to London to the Houses of Parliament, as I said the other day online, and looked at the manifestos of the Great British Pounds and learn the full history of the Great British Pound, even though I studied banking, insurance and finance at university, right?
Right.
So despite the fact having a banking degree, I've never gone to London to study the manifestos of the Great British Pounds that the government will lay there for people, because I don't give a toss, right?
At the end of the day, it's not making you money.
Well, it's not even that. It's just, why do I care about? I'll give you another example then. It's not about the money. It's, freedom will always be more to me than money. Let me just make that very straight now. Money is just an expectancy of an entrepreneur. But, I can't remember when they took the paper notes away and put the plastic ones.
Plastic.
I can't remember. Do I need to know that? Do I? Do I need to know when they changed the 50p from that size to a smaller size? Do I need to know that, right, as an entrepreneur? But if people are interested in it, I've got full respect for it. But they need to understand that there's people like me that like dancing, hip hop music, parties, boxing, football, going to the gym, keeping fit, messing around, chilling, watching films and doing normal stuff that are in the real world out there. That if you do want the real world to get on Bitcoin, you're going to need normal people that don't
creatives.
Well, just people who can. I wish there was someone like me, or sometimes Craig Wright is the same. He can speak English to people. He's good. He just speaks English. That's why I get on with Craig. That's why whenever I see Craig or whatever, we can have a little natter, have a chat, because I can talk English to him. He talks English back. He doesn't sit there and start bamboozling me, right? Isn't that funny? The one guy that you think should really be sat there and bamboozling is, all right, mate, how you do? He's a lovely bloke, right? All right, Craig, how are you? There's no, Craig, the white paper, people do that. I hear that people around him, they think, oh, maybe he wants an intellectual thing. He's good as gold. He speaks English. If it wasn't for people like Craig explaining things, I'd be in trouble. So it's a combination of my own show and people like Craig. If I had people like that, more, even like myself, explaining things a few years ago, I'm sure a lot of more entrepreneurs would jump on board, but they don't get the simplistic version. They get I am the most intelligent version. I am the biggest geek version. I am the most profound version. I know the most. I'm ever so slightly smarter. It's a shame that Bitcoin is more important than that, in my opinion. Even in the conversations we're in today, online, you hear them. Everybody's got to be the one. Brittany, right? Everyone's got to be the one, like the one who knows the most. And I get it, right? I get it. But it's Bitcoin's better than that, in my opinion. They've got to sort of lose a bit of ego, lose a bit of that sort of, and I call it ego. They probably think I'm arrogant, yeah, and egotistical and all that. Fair enough, but I'm not as arrogant enough to like bamboozle people with information because I know they don't understand it.
That's
Yeah,
an
okay, you think
interesting.
it. I'm making you think now. Your energy drink's kicking in now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're definitely making me think because I'm like, wait a minute.
I've got a
I
point. I've got a point.
I think you have some valid points there. I'm not sure who specifically you're referring to, and I don't think it's
A lot of
important.
people like I could. But I'll tell you what I'll do next time. Next time we're on one of those Faces or Clubhouse, whatever. I'll DM you as it's going on, and I'll say he's at it again, or he's at it again, or and you'll see what I mean. And we were doing it today. We do impressions of it in on the Clubhouse. The problem with the Bitcoin, the decentralization nature of the finance, it leaves us in a predicament where we're slightly off with a financial system, and off they go, off they rattle on, and you start going, well, if you're normal, you do.
I would say it's a difficult balancing act, right? Because I think that education in Bitcoin is important, right?
True, true,
It,
true.
it is important.
But
But
define
if I were,
education. Define it.
well, this is what I'm saying. Like my father came to me and was asking me about Bitcoin. And he was like, should I invest? And I'm like, yeah, I think you should have, maybe one or two at least. And then, but I'm like, but then there's all this other information you need to know. And I'll start rattling off the information. And my father, he's in his 50s, and it's the same reaction. It's like, I don't just falling asleep. And he's trying to entertain me because he can obviously it's something that I'm passionate about. But for him, well, when you start talking about protocols and white papers and all of these other things, he just turns it off because he doesn't understand. And I do think that is why education is important. However, it's also somewhat a barrier to entry for people that don't understand technology.
There you go.
And so I kind of like what you were saying. I think it's important to have people that are able to sit there and explain the history of it. But I do think there also needs to be people out there
Well,
putting it into layman's terms, right?
agree with you, Brittany. And we talk about the masses. Do we want the masses or not? Yes or no? Yes, I
I
think we
would hope
do.
so. Yeah.
You hear a lot of people say things like, well, the majority of people are fairly silly, right? I don't know if you say the same thing in America, but in England, we certainly say, well, vast majority of us are a little bit silly. Okay. So maybe not into this technical stuff or whatever. That's what I find stupid. Do you want to get onboarded with loads of people out of my window, or is it for a special group of people that are ever so slightly more intelligent than the average person because they went to university and they've got a BA arts in economics? And then we lock it off for that 2% of people. Oh, we're in the special club. We're in the intelligent. What was it called? We passed the intelligence test. Yeah, we passed the. And you think, I want their money out there in Bitcoin because Bitcoin's better. That's what I think.
I definitely agree with that statement. Like I said, though, I do think it's a balancing act, and I'll preface this too with I don't think people in the community are purposefully trying to and wall us off from the rest of the world by trying to prove that they are more intelligent than other people. I just think that when you become a part of this space, because a little known fact, I'm newer to this space. I've known about it for a while, but I did it once I fell into the hole. You fall down and you start learning and realizing all these things. I didn't know what protocols were. I didn't read white papers before, but once you start falling down there and you gather all of this information to see what's really happening, it's hard to go back to not remembering any of that. And so for me, it's passionate. I'm passionate about talking about these things now. But again, it doesn't help if my father isn't willing to listen to the passion. And so there's a little bit of a disconnect there. So I don't think that people are doing it maliciously or intently, but
I think the fact that Craig Wright has a lot of qualifications, degrees, and masters and PhDs, and I think it makes a lot of these men's balls shrivel and precipitate back up their body, right?
Could
and
be.
they precipitate. But the thing is, I'm a dancer. We've done shows in town in front of thousands, but I don't have that thing where, oh, I must get out there, must be the main man, must be the smart one. I get it. and I want it for them as well. That's the thing. I kind of want it for them, right? But they look at this Craig Wright guy and they're like, right, he's got 17 degrees. Shit, he's more smarter than me. Now I've got where's my dictionary? Where's my thesaurus? Yeah, let me do him now. I'll do him. And then it's also, can I impress about 6 or 7 people? Can I raise the eyebrow of 6? It's a bit sad, but I will lead by example anyway, because I have to get this out to entrepreneurs, and I will. But I'll be getting out to entrepreneurs out there, the ones that don't care, and showing them how to make a lot more profit in their businesses. Really, I will get it out there, Brittany. I will, and I'll do it in basic English as well. You know.
Well, Nick, I just kind of want to go ahead and start wrapping this up here. Is there anything perhaps that you're looking forward to in the future? Anything that you might want to hint at? Anything that final thoughts, I guess, that you'd like to say before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, thank you, Brittany. First of all, I've really enjoyed this conversation, so thank you. Right, it's nice to talk about the business and stuff, and Ben and everyone, our team, would really appreciate it a lot. So thank you. Right, but we're going for it this year. We don't have the general backing of the BSV space at all, if you want to call it a space, whatever, because we're not invested in with certain entities and stuff, which is fine. Again, we understand that, but we're going to prove this year that with a team of 3 people, with no VC and nothing, how powerful the Bitcoin protocol is. And at the end of the year, once we've done that, I'll be teaching everyone how to do it. So all entrepreneurs, get ready, because I'll be putting
start a class.
Yeah, well, I think I'm probably going to do a conference and just get rid of the CoinGeek one, and start bringing people some interesting information. You know, some information that business people will actually find useful. You know, I'm looking at the numbers just before we spoke here of some of the businesses on CoinGeek. Last time, all the numbers are 0. Yeah, our numbers isn't 0, right? So, you know, good luck to CoinGeek and that. But you know, as an entrepreneur, sort of disappointing events actually a lot of the time for us. You know, for all entrepreneurs, again, lovely concepts in that. But don't worry, entrepreneurs, I've got your backs covered. Forget about them. Start listening to people like me. Forget about Ryan X Charles and his 1,550 hours, whatever he does. Don't fall asleep. Yeah, come and talk to me about net profit and business. And that'll be in about 12 months' time. We'll have loads of fun, and we'll get out there and do business. And I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I want you to be fruitful. I'm on your side. And I don't care if you've got a degree or not, or whether you're intelligent or whatever. I don't care. Connect. Let's make some money. That's my final thoughts. And thank you.
I like it. I like it. Well, thank you again, Nick. I appreciate you coming on the show. Make sure to like and subscribe, everybody. But I do believe that's going to wrap it up for us today. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.